Today, on episode 36 of the Fit Stoic podcast, know how to commit to the effort. We'll look at one very important aspect of goal achievement. Put effort into this and you are much more likely to follow through and make excellent progress toward your goals. All right, welcome to the show. I'm Corey Samuelson. Today is chapter 29 of the Gymchiridion. Begin quote. Know what you're getting yourself into. Recognize that there is a process involved. Commit to the effort, or you may find your dedication to the path flagging when the going becomes difficult. In any endeavor, there are actions required. Every choice has consequences. Knowing that you are willing to deal with whatever consequences arise from your choices makes the effort involved much easier to handle. I would be fit and healthy, more so than I am presently. Very well, and what will that take? You must refrain from eating junk food. Become aware of the quantities and qualities of the food you eat. Time your meals with greater attention. You must choose a modality of training. Make time for your workouts. Schedule when you'll be at the gym. Perhaps hire an expert to help you learn correct technique. You must take care to rest and recuperate. Improve your sleep habits. Learn to understand and interpret the good soreness from the "this may be an injury" pains. In summary, you must be aware that your life needs to change in order to create different results. If you go into the process of achieving a fitter, healthier body without these considerations, you will be much less likely to stay the course long enough to make any long-lasting results. You'll change your eating for a few days, perhaps a week, then find it unpleasant and revert to the old habits. You'll excitedly get to the gym, work out like a fiend for a time, then feel so sore that you think it unwise to continue, never achieving the consistency it takes to condition the body, so the soreness becomes welcome and feels good. You'll waffle to and fro between a manic enthusiasm for the rewards ahead and the bleak contemplations that you don't have what it takes to change your life. None of this is to deter anyone from beginning the quest for a fitter, healthier life. Knowing that you must change your behaviors in order to change your results allows you to be intelligent with the changes you make. Knowing that you must change your eating, you can focus on one aspect, say, cutting down on the junk food, until that is well handled and natural before focusing on the next obvious step. Knowing that you must begin conditioning the body with regular workouts, you can make time to be at the gym for 20 minutes 3 times a week for the first 3 weeks. Once that is natural, even enjoyable, you can up the time commitment to 30 minutes 3 times a week. In this way, you keep yourself from becoming overwhelmed. Even with these small steps, at any time, if it becomes too much, you can back off to what you can handle without succumbing to quitting outright and keep moving forward. 4 steps forward, 2 steps back. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. 5 steps forward, 4 steps back, 2 steps forward. The path is never one straight shot to achievement. It is ever a struggle. That's life. Embrace the struggle, and you will learn to stop questioning your own ability. Everyone struggles. Some just make it look easy, probably because they've been struggling longer and have mastered some of what you are yet to face. Commit to making an excellent effort. That's the best anyone can do. End quote. The idea of making a full commitment to your goal ties into this idea of premeditatio malorum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And this has been described as negative visualization, although that term, negative, from the Stoic perspective, isn't actually accurate, because, as you may well know, nothing outside of our own character, from the Stoic perspective, is either good or bad. So if we imagine something, in quotes, bad happening, it's actually not bad. So it's not negative, because whether we get a flat tire on our drive to work, that's not something bad. It's just an occurrence. It's not the flat tire itself that's bad. It's what we do with that. So if we start becoming a little enraged and maybe start throwing things around or pounding on the steering wheel, whatever it happens to be, that is where good and bad lie. It's in our choice. So the term negative visualization isn't accurate from a Stoic perspective. Premeditatio malorum translates from the Latin as the premeditation of adversity. So it's thinking about what could be challenging. And obviously this is going to depend on the person who is doing the premeditation or the imagining of this adversity. Some people will be challenged by the weather. Some people will just take the weather in stride and think, well, this isn't a problem at all. But whatever it is that you consider to be a challenge, or that you would consider, in quotes, negative, this is something that you would imagine and that you would synthetically experience. What I mean by synthetically experience is that you are imagining it happening. It's not actually happening. And you want that synthetic experience to be as vivid as possible. So you're going to involve your visual imagination, your olfactory, what you may be smelling, what you would be feeling, touching, and also feeling as in emotion. And when you do it well, when you use as many of your imagined senses as you can, so that it actually starts to feel more real, even though it's just imagined, that's when you know that you're doing a good job. And that takes practice. Another example of the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum in modern terms is desensitization therapy. And this is actually for quite often people with, we'll say, phobias or post-traumatic stress disorder. And the idea here is that chances are, I'm just going to pick something that most people can relate to, is perhaps a fear of enclosed spaces, so claustrophobia. And riding in an elevator for someone who has claustrophobia is generally something they try their best to avoid. And even being close to an elevator with the imagined possibility of stepping into it is something that can cause some difficulties and cause some stress. So in this modern therapy, this modern take on the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, the therapist will have the individual that experiences claustrophobia, they will get them to take themselves to the edge of their discomfort. So let's say it's standing 30 feet from an elevator with its doors closed. That may be where they start to experience stress. And so to desensitize them from this stress, they will just move to that 30 feet away position, and they'll experience the stress until the stress basically goes away. And that just takes a little bit of time. If they're willing to face that scenario for themselves, they can actually overcome that, because the body just gets tired of causing the stress, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm comfortable now. And then they might move 5 feet closer. Now, sometimes within the therapy room, it's just a matter of imagining a scenario like that. And again, that's that synthetic experience. So just imagining being 30 feet from an elevator with its doors closed will be enough to cause a little bit of stress. And that is very similar practice. That's a modern variation of the old ancient Stoic practice. Now, getting back to our goal setting and that commitment, there's been research by Gabriel Ettingen and Peter Gallwitzer, and this is from a 2010 study that was published, and what they call mental contrasting. So in their research, they found first that just fantasizing about achieving a goal on its own, like just imagining, oh, wouldn't it be great if I was, 30 pounds lighter, and that my body fat had gone down and I lost my gut, just as an example. Just sitting there and imagining what that would feel like and look like. Their research showed that actually could be demotivating. And it's as if the brain begins to believe that it's already achieved and there's no need to get into action. There's no need to work out. There's no need to change the eating habits. So it's not enough to desire the goal and believe it's possible. It's also not enough to know your starting point. So just dwelling, as they call it, almost you can think of it as getting stuck and feeling like, well, what's the use? I'm 30 pounds overweight. My eating habits aren't any good. I don't go to the gym. And thinking and experiencing the starting point where you are right now, for example, that also stopped people from taking action. What the researchers found is that the combination of the two, the awareness of the difference between the starting point and the preferred end point, was motivating and did get people to take action. It very naturally occurs. You become motivated and you start to be aware of what needs to change. And in other interesting research by Edwin Locke and Gary Latham, and this is from their book, New Developments in Goal Setting and Task Performance, published in 2013, begin quote, "This is likely due to the fact that such intense processing makes people more aware of how the goal might be attained, and thus leads to the formulation of well thought out plans that in turn increases self-efficacy for implementation and goal attainment." End quote. So what they're saying is this takes effort. It's hard work thinking clearly and with focus. And notice that they say it's intense processing. Thinking about how to achieve something, about what it will take, about how it can be done. That's intense. And it won't be done perfectly, but it's making the effort to figure out what needs to be done that's valuable. With experience and practice, you get better at this. And this is why it's so valuable to put the time toward one specific goal and direction. It's learning the principles, practicing the skills, and then implementing the systems that are a result of all that work and all that thinking and all that effort that leads to mastery. But if you jump from one unrelated area of focus to another, you don't allow yourself to learn what's necessary and to make progress. The best athletes, the best business people, the best in any field have immersed themselves in moving in one direction. They've put in the thinking, the doing, the learning. They've become so experienced, they can better imagine the challenges they face. Because in all likelihood, they've faced them in the past because of all that effort that they've put in. And because of all that experience, they are thinking from a different paradigm than those of us who merely dabble in their field. This is why top athletes are almost, in the eyes of us mere mortals, so to speak, are so amazing. By knowing how to commit to your preferred experience, whether that's how you want to be as a person or what you want to achieve and create in the world, you'll be in a much stronger position to make it happen. It's a matter of knowing where you're starting, your current circumstances, your current situation, and also your preferred, your desired circumstance or your preferred desired situation. And then very naturally, when you know both of those and you keep them both in mind, you hold them at the same time, that's that mental contrasting, you will start to look for the answers by asking better questions. How do I get from here, point A, to there, point B? That is how you commit to your goals and to the life that you prefer. Thanks for listening. If you found value in what you learned here today, please do share it with someone you believe might like it too. This is Corey. If even just one more person learns to operate with excellence in the moment of choice, the world has become a better place. Talk to you next time.